Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, but we will play Falconer, grow our dorks, go to combat, big attack, flying attack. Munitions expert would be really good for our opponent. Oh, nothing. Down to 7. Okay. Okay, what do you got? What do you got?
Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Budget Magic. And this week, for the first time in a minute, we are heading to Modern, post-ban Modern, to check out a really sweet deck, a little bit influenced by Core Set 2021. This is a Hardened Scales deck, but very different than the typical Hardened Scales deck. This is Tribal Hardened Scales, hardened human allies, partway humans that work with allies, because allies happen to be humans, and Hardened Scales to really power it up, putting +1/+1 counters all over the place, growing our creatures, hopefully smashing our opponent to death. So let's talk about the deck, jump into the game, starting with the hardened part of the deck. So Hardened Scales and now Conclave Mentor are essentially the same thing. Conclave Mentor is in creature form, but if we put a counter, a +1/+1 counter, on one of our creatures, we get that many plus an extra one instead. And our deck is overflowing with creatures that put +1/+1 counters on themselves, so our creatures grow really, really quickly, and even more so if we have Hardened Scales, Conclave Mentor, and these effects stack up. So drawing multiples is not bad. If we have a Hardened Scales and a Conclave Mentor, each counter ends up being 3 counters, which is absolutely insane. Conclave Mentor, the main upside is it gives us redundancy. It's not a human or an ally, which is awkward. It's a creature, so it dies to removal, but we really want just more Hardened Scales effects. So even though it's not a great Hardened Scales, it helps make sure that we always have access to one. Then we have the allies, which are the best cards in our deck. So Hada Freeblade, Kazadu Blademaster, or Reef Survivalist, they're all kind of built around the same mechanic. Whenever they or another ally comes into play, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, which, of course, if we have Hardened Scales, is 2 counters. If we have Hardened Scales and Conclave Mentor, is 3 counters. So these cards grow really, really quickly, and as we build a board of creatures, they all help each other. So if we play, let's say, Hada Freeblade on turn 1, we play Kazadu Blademaster on turn 2, on turn 3 we could go something like Hardened Scales or Reef Survivalist. Or Reef Survivalist isn't just going to put 2 counters on itself, which it is, it's also going to add 2 more counters to Kazadu Blademaster, to Hada Freeblade. So allies kind of have this like sliver-esque feel to them, involving, in this case, +1/+1 counters. Then we have the human part of our deck, and it's worth pointing out all of our allies are also humans. Human soldier ally, human warrior ally. So that means they actually synergize with Champion of the Parish. A 1-drop human gets a counter whenever a human comes into play. So as we're playing our allies, we're growing our Champion of the Parish, doubly so with Hardened Scales and Conclave Mentor. Thalia's Lieutenant, insane finisher in this deck, +1/+1 counter on each human that we control when it comes into play, which is every creature in our deck outside of Conclave Mentor. So if we have Conclave Mentor and maybe a Hardened Scales, this can be putting 10, 15, 20 power on the battlefield for 2 mana as we put multiple counters on everything. And then Absent Falconer is actually super sweet in this deck. It can add a counter to itself for 1 mana with Outlast. The big deal is it's a human that gives each creature we control with a +1/+1 counter flying. So we can make really big creatures in this deck. It is not hard to get our random allies, our Champion of the Parish, up to like 7 power, 10 power. The problem is they can be jump blocked by ground creatures all day. So the idea is we grow our creatures really big, then we just Absent Falconer, get in one massive flying attack to close out the game. We also have a couple of experiment ones just as an extra 1-drop. In reality, it's a little awkward in our deck because most of our creatures are 1/1s that grow with counters, so it's kind of hard to evolve, but it is a human. We do occasionally get counters on it with its evolve ability, and it triggers like our Champion of the Parish. It benefits from Thalia's Lieutenant, so as a 2-of, it's fine, but it's definitely the worst of the 1-drops in our deck. Otherwise, Path to Exile gives us removal, Collective Effort, more removal only for big creatures. The other big deal is we can put a +1/+1 counter on each of our creatures or blow up an enchantment, so some nice flexibility there. Mana base wise, typical budget stuff. We get Unclaimed Territory since we have 28 humans in the deck, so it's a cheap untapped dual land, some budget dual lands, some basic lands. In the sideboard, Lantern Scout gives us another human ally, no counter theme, but when it comes into play, it gives
all of our creatures lifelink until end of turn. Same with another ally comes into play. So this is a way we can swing the race with 1 or 2 big attacks against aggro. Burnt Forge Tender, shuts down burn spells, Inspire Recall, fizzles Wrath, draws us cards, Wilf artifacts and enchantments, Damping Sphere for combos and Trod, Soul Guide Lantern for graveyards, and that is Hardened Human Allies for Modern. And that's our Budget Magic deck for this week. So let's head to some games, see if we can grow some allies and some humans to massive size with Hardened Scales and Conclave Mentor. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the games, and I'll be back in a bit with a wrap-up. Today's video is brought to you by Card Kingdom, and right now you can get this sweet Scoop Soldier sticker when you order over at cardkingdom.com. Just mention in your order notes that you want a Scoop Soldier sticker when you go to checkout. Alright, Budget Magic time. We are playing Hardened Human Allies with some fast and bulbous forces. We will keep. Snow-covered island. Alright, so some sort of control deck, I presume. Well, unclaimed territory on human. And champion. You. Opponent. Snow-covered forest passes. Well, play the land, play Champion of the Parish. Ooh, Mana Leak, alright, sure. Well, we'll follow it up with Experiment 1. Grow the Champion. 2 champions would have been nice, but, yeah. Well, we get to get in for 2. Another white source would also be nice, or a real white source for this path. And this Blade Master, actually. Well, get in, hit you. So, I assume the problem here is going to be a Rose. A Rose for days. Bone it. Field of Ruin. And passes. Can't actually play that, can we? Well, we will play Hada Freeblade. And Mana's a smidge awkward at the moment. It's actually probably an Infinite Turns Nexus deck with Wilderness Wreck, I would guess. Well, grow the dorks, grow the dorks. Yeah, play another forest, go to combat, attack ya. Well, this is not the fastest start, since we can't cast most of our hand, but it's not the worst start either. Opponent takes 4, down to 14. We're actually very okay with this. Yes, please. Thank you. An actual Plains is actually significantly better than a Field of Ruin, right? Or than an Unclaimed Territory right now. Flooded Strand. Opponent. Pass it. We draw. Sun Petal Grove. I'll play the land. Let's just play Conclave Mentor. Grow the dorks. Go to combat. Attack you. Cryptic tap time. Alright, so the Crypticing has presumably begun. Untap land. Opponent at 11. Archmage's Charm. Well, alright, we will Path Champion. Get a Plains. Go to combat. Attack. Hit ya. Down to 7 past the turn. Ooh, what does our opponent have? Snow-covered island and Snapcaster for Archmages. Alright. Yeah. So opponent's going to keep stealing our stuff, unfortunately. We'll remove the counters. Opponent steals our 1/1. Threat. Well, play Hardened Scales. Blade Master. Make it big. Grow the dorks, grow the dorks. Go to combat. Attack our opponent. Opponent trades, goes to 3. But what is the follow-up? What is the follow-up? So close, but it's never safe against bat control. Never. Never ever. Opponent. There's Uro. Oh, God. Yeah. Sure. That is a card we were concerned about. Opponent goes up to 6. Draws a card. Grows Experiment 1. Finds a land. So this means Uro's returning. Ugh. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. What do we do? What do we do? Do we try to win right now? I think we do. Yep, path. Resolves. But what answer does our opponent have? When we go to combat, we attack. Oh, they scoop it up! They scoop it up! It was enough! It worked! Oh! Oh! Oh, beating an Uro deck! Okay, that went pretty well. That went really well. So opponent's playing control. The big problem here is the counters. Interestingly, Interestingly, I feel like with a non-budget build of this deck, things probably are more exciting because we can play... Yeah, let's try it like that. We could bring in Soul Guide Lantern as well, but I don't want to go down too many threats. You know what? We'll go down a collective effort for a Soul Guide Lantern. That's not a threat. All right. Right like that. With a non-budget build, the counters would not be as threatening because we could have Cavern of Souls. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, obviously, that's an expensive upgrade, but Cavern would be insane and basically just beat counter decks more or less by itself. All right, well, 2-tap lands isn't ideal, but this is actually a pretty good hand outside of having to play off curve. Hopefully, the best draw in our deck would just be a basic land. Well, all right, Thalia's Lieutenant. Well, we're going to play off curve, but our hand is still okay. Misty Rainforest. Well, we're drawing all the Inspiring Calls. Champion of the Parish. And Sun Petal Grove go. Well, we'll see how much we can resolve and how many Archmage's Charms our opponent has. And how quickly Uro starts doing Uro things. Temple Garden. Tapped. Opponent Field of Ruin. And Timely Reinforcements. Sure. Come on, lands. Well, alright. We will play a Kazandu Blade Master. Grow. The nice thing about drawing lands would be it would hopefully eventually allow us to leave up this Inspiring Call in case our opponent has a Wrath. Opponent. Alright, there's the Uro, gaining life, drawing cards. Do they hit a land? Opponent's up to 28, but they don't hit a land. Opponent passes. Land, please. Well, it is tapped, but... how do we do this? Yeah, let's just Survivalist. Grow the Dorks. I mean, we're doing a decent job of growing our team. Fortified Village. So we have played exclusively tap lands this game. Get in with Blade Master. Opponent jumps. That's fine. Eventually, we can send the crew to the air with this Falconer. Opponent untaps. Passes. Play a Plains. Oh, wow, this is very, very, very interesting. We could just go full-on aggro, but we leave ourselves open to our opponent going land Wrath. I think we play it conservatively. Go to combat. Attack. Alright, so opponent's going to blow up our land. We'll float. For no great value, but get a Plains. Opponent gets an island. Drops to 22. We're going to pass. Leave up our Inspiring Call. Opponent untaps. We actually, honestly, since we have 2 Inspiring Claws, if our opponent taps out for something... there's a chance that we just fire it off. Opponent. Passing. We draw. Conclave Mentor. Go to combat. Tack. Alright, opponent has a path. We'll let that go. We'll get a land out of our deck. We will play... So opponent's probably going to get back Uro, I assume. Let's play Conclave Mentor. Opponent cracks. Breeding Pool. Untapped. And then... Thalia's Lieutenant? Alright, we're tapped out, opponent. Hopefully you don't untap and go White Source Wrath. Our opponent would have to draw the White Source, though, because I didn't have one in hand. Alright, the board grows. If our opponent does do that, things are pretty sketchy. I guess Archmage's Charm steal our Champion of the Parish is annoying, too. Alright, Coatl draws a card. Looking for the White Source to Wrath. Opponent untaps. Combat. Passing. Well, we will play Free Blade. Grow everything. Go to combat. Get in with Conclave Mentor. Conservative attack. Opponent blocks. Yeah. We'll pass the turn. Another Coatl. All we want is our opponent to cast a Wrath. It's weird to say that, but that is, like, the best thing that could happen to us. Oh, these Coatls don't have Death Touch. Ooh, we could have attacked much more aggressively. What do you got, opponent? Yeah, we could have, should have. I'm just used to Ice Fang always having Death Touch, but without Astrolabe, a little less likely. We're also kind of fine with our opponent getting back Uro. Opponent passes. Yeah, let's force the action. Inspiring Call. Opponent mana leaks. Sure. Well, we untap. We play Thalia's Lieutenant. Grow the Dorks immensely. Go to combat. Swing with the crew. Alright, so opponent paths. That's acceptable. We get a land out of our deck. Opponent blocks. Blocks. Drops to 10. Well, this is the turn. Opponent's got to do something good here or we're taking down back control. There's the land for the Wrath, but we still have an Inspiring Call. Opponent, combat, no attacks. We untap. There's no way they're playing Settle the Wreckage, right? There's not, hopefully. They can't be. They can't be playing Settle. They just can't. That would be so unlikely. Cryptic is a possibility. Well, let's go to combat. Cryptic? Nope. Well, attack, attack, attack. Opponent paths. All right, they're going to keep chipping away little by little. Holy mother. Paths. Okay, so opponent's got all the paths. That's actually 3 paths. Yeah, all right, sure. Opponent jumps. We play Survivalist. Grow the Dorks. Yes. Yes. Pass the turn. Opponent. Well, all right. Inspiring Call. Draw some cards. Fizzle the Wrath. Win the game. Oh, the tech! The tech came through! The tech came through! Take that, Bant-Uro! Woo, boy! That was beautiful! And opponent scoops it up! Oh! Well, that is what we were playing towards essentially the entire game. That's why we were playing it slow. We knew it was going to have to happen. Opponent knew they were running out of time. We had the Inspiring Call. Not only, I mean, if the game had continued and it didn't just win us the game, which it did this time, also was drawing us 3 cards. Hardened Scales had his Free Blade, more action. Wow, that was a good one. That was a very impressive win. Triple Path, Wrath, Uro, double Coatl, no problem. Well, all right, sweet, sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some Hardened allies, hardened human allies in Modern. And this hand is, well, we'll keep it. It's a bit land heavy, and we don't have payoffs, which is a bit obnoxious. No Hardened Scales, no Conclave Mentor, but, well, Fortified Village. Yeah, whatever. Reveal a Forest. We could path, I guess. Pass the turn. Opponent. Temple of Deceit. Alright, so opponent appears to be ad nauseuming. Collective Effort could actually be decent. There's a Lotus Bloom. Well, we will unclaim territory on human and run out a Blade Master. Pass the turn. So our Path to Exile is a dead card. Opponent. Taking down the Lotus Bloom. Seachrome Ghost. Sure Ambitions. Sure. And Sleight of Hand. Alright, so opponent getting things set up for presumably the win the turn Lotus Bloom comes down. Gonna be hard to kill our opponent that quickly. Well, we will play a Forest, play Champion of the Parish, play Survivalist, grow all of our dorks, actually. So grow everything, hit our opponent for 3 past the turn. Lotus Bloom, coming down next turn. Ugh. Ugh. It's hard to expect them not to have it here. Opponent. I mean, we got a clock. Well, there's the Gemstone Mine. Our best bet is that they're on the Phyrexian Unlife plan and that we can collected effort it. All right, there's the Unlife. Well, that was our best hope. Ooh, Freeblade is good. Maybe. Well, we'll see what they have. Sud Petal Grove. Play Hada Freeblade. Trigger our stuff. Grow all of our door. I mean, this is a pretty impressive start. Our opponent's still going to have the mana to combo, though. So we grow our stuff. We collected effort with Escalate. Grow our team. Blow up Unlife. Tapping Free Blade. Hit our opponent for a ton. Like, we get in for a ton of damage here. Opponents to 4, but they have the Lotus Bloom. If they have the right combo pieces, we're still just dead here. Even with our tech to take down the Unlife. Opponent, come on. Hold. Land. Thassa's Oracle. All right, puts a card on top. And scoops it up! It was enough! It was enough! We managed to take him down. Okay, that was sweet. That was sweet! Our clock came through. Now we get to go to sideboarding and get not much, but a little something. That was not even our fastest start. We didn't even have Hardened Scales or Conclave Mentor. Whew. So Damping Sphere, it is helpful against the deck, even though it's not game over. And then Wilt is also helpful. So we'll go up those. I think we go down Falconer. Falconer is mostly for creature matchups to just give our team flying. But if we don't need to give our team flying, it's not super helpful. And then maybe we can cut a land. 21 lands is probably fine, especially without Falconer. All right, run it like that. All right, it worked-ish. Collective Effort saved the day. That was like the one way that could work out, was our opponent being on the Unlife plan and not having a backup. And they run the Unlife. unlife land and did not have a backup. All right, we'll keep. Wouldn't mind drawing one more land. We got a pretty fast clock if we can cast our stuff. Seeing a little clunkiness with Unclaimed Territory, Conclave Mentor, but all right, opponent. Does some mulligans, planes, and Lotus Bloom suspended. Now, Unclaimed Territory on human and Free Blade. Get the clock started. Unfortunately, our budget mana might mean we have to take next turn off, which is not optimal for an aggro deck, but opponent. Oddly, even though we don't really want more than 3 lands, drawing a land to make these lands come into play untapped would totally be worth it. Opponent passes. I'll go to combat, hit our opponent. Play Fortified Village, tapped. Yeah, that's not great. We could have a lot more power on the battlefield. Opponent, Lotus Bloom. So we gotta assume they have the win if they can get their mana. Opponent passes. Well, we will... Damping Sphere? Do we Damping Sphere or do we get our clock increased? Yeah, let's Damping Sphere. Sun Petal Grove. Go to combat, hit ya. Opponent, Lotus Bloom. Yeah. Well, that's spell number 1. Another Lotus Bloom suspended. Ugh, they're doing it the hard way. We draw planes. Oh, this is awkward. Sort of regretting that Damping Sphere. We will play Conclave Mentor. Go to combat, get in for... Yeah, yeah, it's a little awkward. So we can't play something else because of our own Damping Sphere. So we're hurting our opponent, but we might be hurting ourselves almost as much. Lotus Bloom. Take it down. Opponent, not a land. Well, we draw a land, which is good. This means we get to play Conclave Mentor, play Blade Master, grow our stuff massively thanks to double Conclave Mentor, and these things are going to keep growing. This is the power of the deck. So we kind of slowed ourselves down a bit thanks to Damping Sphere, but I think we actually might be presenting lethal next turn. Opponent, take 6. Oh, we're definitely presenting lethal. Our stuff's going to get huge from this survivalist. Opponent, needs something good. Simian Spirit Guide. Whoa! Ad nauseum to find lands. This is desperate. Desperate. Opponent to 3. So they have an Angel's Grace to stay alive, but they don't have the mana, and we can play another Damping Sphere. I think we might have him. Opponent, Gemstone Bind. Passes. So this is going to force our opponent to Angel's Grace. We draw Free Blade. Well, go to combat, attack. There's the Angel's Grace. Opponent goes to 1. We will play another Survivalist. Grow our dorks massively. Oh, they're getting so big. Yeah, 7/7s. And then another Damping Sphere. Pass the turn. It should be hard for our opponent to actually combo through double Damping Sphere. So they play their Lotus Bloom, but it's going to be hard to cast another spell. All right, there's a Lotus Bloom. There's a land. Opponent. If you're going to play Unlife, you got to sack the Lotus Bloom. You already cast a spell. Damping Spheres. Wow. Maybe the Damping Spheres will be enough. Maybe. Wow, it's sweet how big we can grow our creatures. Pretty quick. And opponent can't get through the Damping Spheres. Well, our Damping Spheres did kind of hurt us a little bit, but in the end, I think they won us the game, and we got to see the power of putting extra counters on our human allies. They just get so big so fast. I wonder, with how that game played out, it might have been better to not Damping Sphere and just try to kill our opponent, but it's always risky because they can win with a little amount of mana with Spoils of the Vault and Thassa's Oracle, but all right, sweet. We will take it for sure. Whew. Sweet. All right, budget magic time. Well, I guess we're keeping this. 1 land, 1 keep. I mean, we do have a bunch of 1-drops. We're playing Hardened Human Allies. Hopefully, we draw a green source. Green source would be spectacular. Well, we'll keep. See what happens. We are in the draw. And the good news is, even if we don't draw land, which would be disappointing, we can still play stuff for several turns. Black Leaf close for our opponent. And Inquisition. All right, sure. Opponent, considering what they're up to, takes the Champion of the Parish. All right, that's not a land. Well, we'll play How to Free Blade. Go. Opponent, Swamp, and passes. Well, there's a land. So play the Sun Petal Grove, play Hardened Scales. That was a good draw. That is what we were hoping for. Play Hada Freeblade. I assume our opponent's leaving up some sort of removal here. Yeah, there's the bolt. Sure. Can't do anything about that. Grow the Freeblade, pass the turn. Well, how much removal do they got? That's the biggest question. Marsh Flats for our opponent. And passes. Well, unclaimed territory. On human. Blade Master. Does our opponent have another removal spell? Alright, so opponent is playing a very removal-heavy deck, and that's probably not good for us. Well, alright, your go. Opponent cracks, gets a Blood Crypt, tapped, untaps. Do they have more removal? Something like Liliana here is going to be really hard to beat. Inquisition takes our Blade Master. Ugh, goodness. Wow, takes a path. Okay, opponent wants to play a creature. It's a Dark Confidant. Alright, well, opponent's going to start drawing cards to try to find more removal. We are going to start attacking with big Blade Masters. 1-drop, please. Alright, that's a 1-drop. So play Champion of the Parish. That's a good draw. Decent draw, at least. Play Blade Master. Well, here comes a Beats opponent. Our stuff's getting big, so you're going to have to keep drawing removal off this Dark Confidant. Blade Master, 5/5. Blade Master, 3/3. Champion of the Parish, 3/3. Attack you for 5. Well, now all we really want is to keep drawing threats. Opponent goes to 14. Oh, what does Bob get? Inquisition, that's wonderful. That is a dead card. That is as much as we could have hoped for from this Bob, as far as not being helpful for our opponent. Oh, opponent. Passes. We draw a land. All right, well, go to combat. Attack with everything. Would have been nice to hit a creature there, but get in there. Whoa, okay, the removal continues. Opponent keeps hitting it. Never ending. Opponent. Wow. Down to 7. However, the removal is infinite. Opponent. Untap. Start Confidant. It's a land. Did they also draw another removal spell? There's a Bloodstained Mire. There's the Inquisition. Seize the land. Could really use another creature here. Opponent. Still has 2 unknowns in hand. Passes. Well, oh, goodness. The fizzle. The fizzle. The fizzle. Well, go attacking. Opponent blocks. Village Rights to draw. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Opponent goes to 4. Goes to 3. Gets a Blood Crypt. Tapped. Untaps. 4 cards in hand still. If we lose, it's going to be because we drew those 2 lands in a row at a really inopportune time. Marsh Flats for our opponent. Oh, wow, this is so close. Oh my goodness, opponent scoops it up. Huh. Well, in some ways, that was pretty impressive because our opponent had a ridiculous amount of removal. Inquisition, Bolt, Terminate, Fatal Push. They had what? They killed 4, 5 of our best things? Like, look at this pile of stuff in the graveyard while we kept drawing lands. Hey! But we got there. We got there somehow. Against our opponent's deck, I don't even know if we have much of anything. Could try the Inspiring Calls. Maybe we go up Inspiring Calls. Go down an Experiment one. Go down a Collected Effort. And, alright, go down a Collective Effort. Let's try it like that. We might regret it if they're playing Blood Moons and we get Blood Mooned out of the game, but wow. Well, that in some ways that was pretty impressive because we got hit by a ridiculous amount of removal. Well, all right, we're going to keep this. We have a lot of action. Unfortunately, we only have 1 land and it comes into play tap, so for a deck that really wants to curve out, unless we draw just a basic land to make this come into play and tap like a Plains, it's going to be a bit slower than we were hoping. Bloodstained Mire for our opponent. Passes. Land. Alright, well, Sun Petal Grove, go. Yeah, well, pass the turn. Blood Crypt for our opponent. Tapped. Yeah, that is one of the prices you pay for playing budget mana in an aggro deck in specific. Black Cleave Cliffs for our opponent. And Croxa. Well, that's going to be an issue eventually. We will discard a Survivalist, I guess. We draw land. Hardened Scales. Well, play Hardened Scales. We're off to the slowest of starts, but there's a Hardened Scales. Pass the turn. Oh, we would love a land. We would love a land. Opponent. Bloodstained Mire. And passes. Land, please. Plains. Unclaimed territory works. Unclaimed territory on human. So we will play a Hada Freeblade. Actually, I think we gotta play champion first. Play champion of the parish. Well, our 1-drops are coming. It might be turn 3, but they're coming. Hada Freeblade. Opponent has a bolt. Alright, here we go. Well, we'll see. Opponent gets down to 3 cards. They got a fatal push. Alright, so the infinite removal is stacking up. Opponent cracks. Oh, it does not crack. Plays a swamp, so they're close to Kroxa. Opponent passes. Well, we will play a Kazandu Blade Master. Pass the turn. Alright, removal spell number 3. Not sure I've ever played against a more removal-heavy deck than this. Alright, so opponents had all the removal. They get to get back Kroxa. That's going to make us discard. Opponent still has 2 cards in hand. Oh, they're not even going to get back Kroxa yet. Okay. No, we will play Blade Master. Do they have another removal spell? Come on now. Come on now. They haven't been making land drops, so they have 2 of something, which is probably more removal. Holy mother. Alright. Removal spell number 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 bolts, a fatal push, and a terminate here on turn 5. Yeah. Opponent untaps. Draws a removal spell, I'm sure. Plays a Blackleaf Glyphs. Well, we have a couple threats left over. We'll see. Opponent cracks, so they're going to get back Kroxa. We'll see. We've run our opponent low on cards. We'll see if it gets them out of, if that's enough. We can discard this Hardened Scales. Wow, that's so much removal. Opponent's like Rakdos Control, I guess. So there's Kroxa. As sweet as Hardened Scales is, we are going to discard it. We will play Hada Freeblade. And because of Village Rights, I think we actually just path Kroxa now. Get rid of Kroxa, pass the turn. Well, does a creature remain on the battlefield? Opponent's finally down to 1 card. Hopefully they don't have like a Bob or a Liliana. That would be so bad. Opponent, another Kroxa. Alright, they just keep coming. Well, we have to discard Falconer. Opponent, passing. Well, we will play a Blade Master. Trigger. Does our stuff actually live this time? Alright. Looks like for the moment it does. Get in for 4. Opponent to 14. Plays a lad. That's not too threatening. Wow. This would be a pretty surprising win. We will play a Oran Reef Survivalist. I guess we benefited from only drawing 3 lands so far. If they're slow rolling like a Damnation, oh, that would get us. That would get us hard. All right, grow our dorks. Get in for a bunch. We now have 1-drops big enough to block Kroxa, which is sweet. Opponent's got 1 turn. They have 1 turn to do something really good. Opponent takes it to 9, to 4, to 3. Yeah, we'll play the unclaimed territory on human. All right. Your go, opponent. Please don't damnation us. Please don't damnation us. Opponent cracks to 2 to thin the deck. The turn of truth. Do we get there through 5 removal spells? I mean, I guess the good news is we really only need 1 or 2 creatures to stick because they get big so fast. Like, this Hada Freeblade, after what, 3 turns? 2 turns is a 6/7, our 1-drop? Oh. Opponent. Ball Lightning. Interesting. Oh, is this like an elemental deck? Huh. This is probably the Skelemental. That makes sense. Rakdos Skelemental. Thankfully, Kazandu Blade Master, good at shutting down Skelementals. And, I mean, I think we have it, unless our... That is kind of surprising. Our opponent had so much removal this match in the Rakdos Skelemental matchup, and we were able to overcome just barely by drawing enough threats to eventually run our opponent out of cards. Hi. Well, we will definitely take that one. All right, sweet. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some Hardened Human Allies in Modern, and, well, no Hardened, but this hand looks pretty good. We got a good curve. 2 1-drops, some allies, some humans, and we're on the play, so we just go aggro, cross our fingers, hope for the best. All right, so we will... Yeah, let's just unclaim territory on human. And I think we start on champion of the parish. Pass the turn. Scalding Darn for our opponent. And passes. Well, play the land. Play a Blade Master. Grow the dorks. Get in for 2. Well, we'll see what our opponent's doing. Combo is probably tough if there's something like Storm. Could be Control. Could even be Burn. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities at this point. See what they fetch. Stomping Grounds. All right. Opponent gets tap land. Bloodstained Mire. I guess it could be Jun too. Richard on a fake account. Getting his Jun fakes when no one knows. Oh, Dredge? Ooh, okay. Well, alright. Alright. Let's see what we draw. Smiting Hex is going to be obnoxious eventually. Unclaimed territory. Well, we will play a Forest. Play Falconer. Grow Champion of the Parish. Go attacking. Hit ya. For 5. I mean, we're aggro mode. Opponent. Flying is nice. That is a way we can maybe swing this matchup. Opponent needs what? White mana for this? White mana. Alright. Yeah. Opponent down to 11. Scalding Tarn. Alright, so they probably... Alright. Gonna keep dredging. Cathartic Reunion discards 2 Stinkweeds. Well, this is a good turn for our opponent. Narcomoeba. Dredges. Well, opponents dredged half their deck. Narcomoeba, they get a Creeping Chill to gain life. Narcomoeba gives our opponent a flying blocker. And they get a ton of prized amalgams. Well, the race is on. Opponent. Yeah, here they come. We draw Hardened Scales. We will play Hardened Scales. We will play Free Blade. Grow our darks doubly. Hardened Scales was a good draw. That was a very good draw. Pump up Falconer. Combat. Attack. Well, we will see. Opponent. Is it enough? Blocks with Narcomoeba. If we beat Dredge with 2 Cathartic Reunions, that would be pretty impressive. Opponent. Adepts. Dredges. Alright. I mean, they can get back Ox and keep dredging. We're not really in danger of dying. I don't think this turn. I mean, we're in danger of dying in a couple turns, but also in danger of winning this turn. Opponent. So it looks like they're just going to Ox. Keep dredging. Try to hit some Narcomoebas, which they probably will. They're going to have dredged most of their deck. Yeah, there's Ox. Discards the hand. Dredges a bunch. They're also going to hit, presumably, yeah, Creeping Chills. So Narcomoeba, Creeping Chill. Creeping Chill? Oh, they had 1 in hand. All right. So a Narcomoeba Creeping Chill. Sure. That'll also trigger Silver Smote. This actually might be working. Our opponents dredge their entire deck, but I'm not 100% sure that we're actually losing. Opponent. Attacks. We'll block. Take 6. Can we win this turn? We drop to 8. Here comes Silver Smote. Do we have enough damage? Something like Thalia's Lieutenant would be great. Plains. Well, we will play a land. Falconer. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh. So we don't have lethal? Our opponent can chump. Wow, we might not be getting there. Well, play Falconer. Grow Champion. So if we attack with everything, opponent blocks here, takes 8, 9, 10, 11. If we attack here and here, we can block. Alright, we'll attack like this. I feel like we need to leave back some blockers, especially since our opponent could Smiting Hex potentially. So opponent blocks. Narcomoeba down. Opponent goes to 9. We pass the turn. Ooh, another prized amalgam. Yeah. Opponent cracks. Do they have a white? Oh, no. Oh, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. Ooh. Ooh. So I think we're dead. I was hoping this deck probably plays like a white source. I guess we could have looked through their graveyard. I was hoping it was just not in their deck. Opponent dredges. Conflagrate 2 Narcomoebas, 3 Silver Smoke Ghouls. Yeah, and I think that does it. Wow. Wowie zowie. Opponent attacks with everything. Well, we will. Block. Yeah. Ugh. We needed our opponent to have milled that white source. So a bunch of our stuff dies. We go to 5. Well, we made our opponent dredge literally their entire deck to just barely win. So we're not going to win, but our opponent had an insane dredge draw. Like, double Cathartic Reunion. That is the dredge dream. And our opponent's only just barely been able to win. So, can't be too disappointed, honestly. So opponent, since they had the white source, they get to Smiting Hex, they get to kill our Falconer, they go to 11, and that is definitely a game. That also gets back 4 Silver Smoke Ghouls. Well, I mean, impressive performance for our deck in a losing effort, because usually you don't go up against the Dredge Nuts and even make it close. We draw another land, and we will scoop it up. All right, so, yeah, I mean, good Dredge hand. Sure. Well, now we play the sideboard game. Since we're a budget deck, our Graveyard Hate is Soul Guide Lantern, which unfortunately is a lot worse than Rest in Peace, which would be the non-budget option. But it is Graveyard Hate, so we're not going to complain. And yeah, run it like that. Run it like that. Actually, maybe we're going to, maybe we go on a path. Targeted removal is not super exciting against our opponent's deck, honestly. Because their creatures keep coming back. There's a million of them, so killing one doesn't do much. We'll bring in the Forge Tenders to stop Conflagrate primarily. Well, hopefully we draw Graveyard Hate. Lantern Scout could also swing a raise. Like in that last game, if we just gained 20 life or something, opponent probably ends up milling themselves out. Alright, so we're on the play. Let's see some Graveyard Hate. Ugh. Yeah, we're going to ship this. We got a bunch of dorks, but I don't think that hand beats. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. No Graveyard Hate. Only a semi-fast clock. Ugh. Yes, this is a tough matchup. I wish we had stolen that first game. Well, now we're going to have to keep, I think. We don't really have a choice. Keep and hope for the best. All right, we'll keep. We will put Forge Tender and Forest to the bottom. Ugh. Alright. Well, unclaimed territory, human, go. Graveyard Hate off the top would be spectacular. That's probably what we need more than anything, honestly. About it. The other thing is, if our opponent has Dark Blast and they leave it up, it's going to be really brutal. Because most of our creatures are 1/1s before they get counters. So Dark Blast is actually just straight up absurd against our deck. Unclaimed territory, human. Well, please no Dark Blast. If there's a Dark Blast, this might be a quick one. I think we actually start with Blade Master. Ooh, no. Not yet. Moto knows. Moto knows what could happen if there's a Dark Blast. Lead with the best ally, I think, so we can start growing it. Oh dear. Oh, dear. The fetch crack is not what we wanted to see. Blood Crypt. Oh, boy. Untapped. Huh. Well, it wasn't a Dark Blast, but Lightning Axe discarding Stinkweed Imp is also pretty rough. Opponent. Dredges. Hits a Stinkweed, but nothing else of relevance. Scalding Tarn. Graveyard Hate, please. Oh, play a land. Purrington Forge Tender. Oran-Reef Survivalist. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks. Stomping Rounds. Well, alright, we got a 2/2. About it. Dredges. Well, their only dredger in the graveyard's life from the loam. Man, Graveyard Hate would be spectacular right now. Conclave Mentor. That we can't cast. Alright, well, in that case, Thalia's Lieutenant. Go to combat. Attack. Boat it. Down to 12. Ooh, Dredge's Loam. Okay, more prized amalgams. I mean, if our opponent just fizzles on their dredging, who knows what'll happen. Are they loaming back lands? Eventually, they're going to hit their good stuff, and once they do, things get a lot worse for us. Opponent, Gemstone Mine. Passes. We draw. Falconer. Well, we will play the Falconer. Grow Thalia's Lieutenant. Go to combat. Attack you for 6. I mean, in theory, we got our opponent out of turn 2 clock. This dredge is huge. What do they hit from this lobe? That is the game. Okay, nothing that kills us. Are they just going to fizzle? And we're going to win with the jankiest of beatdowns on the Moldify with no Graveyard Hate? Stomping Grounds. Tapped. Opponent. Hard cast Stinkweed Imp. Wow. So in theory, our opponent goes to 1. We need to draw any human or ally. Champion of the Parish. I think that does it. Triggers. Combat. I think this is exactly enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we need 2 3/3s, and whoo! Well, our opponent fizzled. We did not have graveyard hate, but our opponent just had the worst dredging luck, perhaps in the history of Dredge Plague. All right. We will accept that. Whoo! All right, that was pretty sweet. Well, we're on the draw. We're up against Dredge. Show us the graveyard hate. Or just have our opponent fizzle again like last time. That would also work. Oh, no! Oh, 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, 0 lands. Oh, that is the dream, except we don't have lands. Oh, boy, is there any chance this works? Ugh. And our lands are all tapped. We're going to keep mulliganing. That first hand was so close to what we wanted. Well, all right. Keep time. Oh, this is really bad. This hand's horrible. Oh, no. I can't believe we had 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, but did not have a land to cast. Oh, well, opponent's dredge luck seems to be improving this game. Little much to hope for. Okay. Well, that is Soul Guide Lantern. Our luck improving slightly. Snipe Stinkweed. Pass the turn. Opponent dredges stuff. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern is a huge draw. Opponent land. And what do you got? Alright, cracks it. Sacred Foundry. Untapped. Wow, alright, just smiting hexes our face, sure. We're actually pretty okay with that. Mills themselves. Yeah, no dredger. Opponent passes. Wow, alright. Soul Guide Lantern. Oh my goodness, that was fortunate. Snipe the Ox. Well, with 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, things are looking up. Opponent untaps. Wow, those were miraculous draws. Could Hypergeometric calculate ourself on that one? Because the odds of having 2 Soul Guide Lanterns out of 3 in a row after mulling to 5 are pretty slim. Opponent. Well, sometimes the Magic Gods want you to win. Loam's back some lands. Sure. I don't think we fight over the lands. Blood Crypt. Tapped. Opponent. Passing. Well, land and Falconer. Threat 1. Pass the turn. Boy, is it worth getting rid of the Loam? Ugh. I wonder if it's worth it. Opponent has 2 lands and then unknowns in hand. Are we okay with our opponent dredging Loam? We're gonna do it. We're gonna get rid of the Loam. Well, there goes Graveyard Hate Spell 1. The tree cord's empty. That's good news. Stop big routes. Tapped. Stinkweed Imp. Alright, opponent's on the fair plan. We untap. Unclaimed territory. On human. Play Survivalist. Play Thalia's Lieutenant. Alright. Well, the Stinkweed is going to hold down the fort for a moment. Especially since the one path in our deck is on the bottom. So our opponent's going to be able to block for a while. Boner Depths. Gemstone Mine. Castle Loam, just to get something to the graveyard. And opponent passes. Thug. Sure. Well, we will play a Survivalist, grow the Dorks. And, I mean, I think we got to start attacking. Yeah. So the issue is, if we start attacking, we're going to have to crack the Soul Guide Lantern to get rid of the Stinkweed. And then we're left without Graveyard Hate, which is risky. Oh, I think it's worth it. Attack. Because letting the game go on forever, our opponent is going to start dredging stuff. And this is not a rest in peace. Opponent blocks. Stinkweed goes away for now. Yeah, we lose a threat. Opponent goes to 18. We grow our Falconer. Nuke the graveyards and hope for no whammies. We got a pretty fast clock. Another Stinkweed would be super obnoxious. Opponent. Oh, is this Narcomoeba? We are okay with Narcomoeba being cast. Oh, okay, Prized Amalgam, that's fine. Our team is flying, that's not relevant. Bloodstained Mire. Opponent, passing. Come on, any creature or more Graveyard Hate. Those are the 2 things we want. Well, alright, Survivalist, that is a creature. That speeds up the clock. Grows 2 of our Dorks. Uh-oh. Opponent has an answer? Blood Crypt. Tapped. Grow everything. Oh, opponent's just thinning, I guess. Go to combat. Swing. 6? Let's think about this. We hit for 6. We grow this, and we hit for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Get in. So the clock is the same, but growing this Falconer to 6 toughness means that it doesn't die to Lightning Axe. So we still have lethal this turn, and Lightning Axe is not a top deck that can get our opponent out of this. Whoa. I cannot believe that we're in this good a shape. I think we're going to win this against all odds. Literally. Whoo. Opponent GG's us, and somehow, someway, thanks to our opponent having some of the worst dredge luck I've ever seen. Well, we'll take it. Hardened human allies overcoming the dredge menace. Wow. Well, sweet, 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 sweet. All right, budget magic time. Oh, so close, so close. We're mulliganing with some hardened human allies, and we'll keep this, and we will put Lander Path. Let's go Forest to the bottom. Maybe we regret this. It'll depend on the matchup and if we draw more lands, but we can do a lot with just 2 lands, so hopefully we're fine. See what our opponent's up to. Opponent. Bloodstained Mire. Cracks it. Mountain. Oh, please not Lava Dart. That's so bad. Ooh, oh, it's goblins. All right, well, I'm glad we kept the path. Play a Plains. Play Thalia's Lieutenant. Grow Experiment 1. Go to combat. Get in Hitcha. And I'm glad we put a land at the bottom since we do another one. All right, pass the turn. So we do have to be aware of getting comboed off by Snoop. Otherwise, it's basically an aggro race. This Falconer might be key, giving our team flying to get in over goblin blockers. I don't think there's any other red-black Ether Vial decks outside of goblins, so it's gotta be the goblins. Opponent, untap land out of 15. Vials in. Skirk Prospector and Munitions Expert. Alright, that's not great. Removal spell part 1. More lands. Oh, this is way too many lands, but we will play Absent Falconer. Well, I'm very glad we put that land to the bottom because we are in max fizzle mode with the land draws here. Well, Thalia's Lieutenant does have flying, so we get to get in for 2. Opponent, down to 13. Well, let's see what goblin they got next. I feel like we definitely have to be the aggro in this matchup because they will have tutors and ringleaders and all this card draw, so winning the long game is probably impossible against goblins for our deck. So we got to win the short game, hopefully. Opponent, considering their options. Next goblin is Matron to get what? It'd be really sweet if we stop drawing lands. That Munitions Expert really cut down our clock. Harbinger to set up the combo. Opponent, come on, action. Well, Blade Master counts. We will, let's see, play the Plains, Blade Master, grow our dorks, Falconer, go to combat, get in for 3, hit our opponent to 10. Oh, are we a draw away from winning? Opponent, Vials in. Snoop. Okay. Opponent untaps. Do they take up Vial? Yeah, this is fine. Anti-Shovel, untapped, reveals a Harbinger. Vials in. The Harbinger, I assume. Opponent tutors up something. Most likely Kiki Jiki. Yeah, there's Kiki. Opponent activates. Well, we will path. Oh. We are so close to winning this game. If we draw a human ally, we have lethal in the air. All right, opponent. What do you got? Any ally. Any ally just wins if our opponent doesn't have removal. Magor Marshal, sure. Last card. Okay. Opponent, combat. Come on, let's close it out right now. No risk. Ally off the top. Ally off the top to take down the goblins. Land. That's not it. I'll go to combat. Attack. All right. This is what we got. We hit you to 2. And we hope to fade a single draw. They can't win with the combo, so their best draw would be a way to kill Falconer, so then they could block, and potentially just block long enough that we can't win. This Falconer's been key. We got to fade one draw a step. No Munitions Expert, no Kiki. Those are the two cards that would get us. Opponent, yeah, stuff's going away. Does this one draw save our opponent? I guess Matron would do it too, because they could tutor up Munitions Expert. Oh, okay, didn't hit it. And we flooded out, but it didn't matter. Falconer came through. That was pretty good. Bad news is we don't actually have a ton of things that are good against what our opponent's doing. Inspiring Call will, Lantern Scout. I guess could matter if we get in a racing position. I think we just bring in the Forge Tenders, go down collective effort, and it is what it is. We got's what we got. All right. I mean, so we can win like we did that time, which is just race our opponent. That's probably our best pathway to winning, is just to be faster than our opponent. A little bit worrisome that, well, we'll keep 2 paths. Paths are good. A little bit awkward that we can't actually play Hardened Scales because of unclaimed territory, but with budget mana, you gotta do what you gotta do. But 2 paths means we should be able to protect ourselves from the combo at least. And T-Shovel. Untapped. For a Prospector. Plays a Vial. Well, unclaimed territory on human. And I think we just use. Pass the turn. Yeah, real green mana would be sweet. Would not complain. Ether Vial. Taking up. Opponent. Thoughtseize. Sure. I'm actually surprised they brought in Thoughtseize against us. Or kept in Thoughtseize against us. It does not seem good. I mean, I guess it can get rid of stuff that can disrupt the combo, but I don't even know what our opponent did. What do you take out of Freeblade? Hardened Scales, because if we draw green mana, it could be good. Or Path to try to force through the combo eventually. Unfortunately, we can't grow this until we, or attack with this until we grow it because of that Skirk Prospector. All right, takes a Freeblade. That makes sense. Well, we will play and play the Plains, play Forge Tender, play another Experiment one. Oh, pass the turn. So we need green mana, and we need ways to someday grow our team. Here comes the Prospector. Yeah. Goblin number 1. Ether Vial taken up. All right, opponent draws a land. So we know they have 3 action pieces in hand because they miss their land drop. What goblins might they be? Opponent cracks. Blood Crypt. Untapped. Yeah, opponent has spent a lot of life. We haven't even been able to attack them yet, so that's something. Down to 15. Incidentally. Yeah, Experiment ones are like our awkward one drop because a lot of our stuff is small but grows from counters, so it doesn't actually trigger Experiment one. So that's there's not a ton of ways to immediately start growing this, which is why it's only a 2 of, just to kind of round out our curve. Opponent passes. Oh, so awkward. So awkward. Well, get in with Forge Tender. We might. Oh, I'm very tempted to path the Experiment one. Those unclaimed territories looking real bad at the moment. Oh, mana's expensive though. Reprint fetch lands. Make them cheap so I can play them in budget decks, Wizards. Come on now. You cowards. I think you gotta say you cowards, right? If you say that. Opponent. Yeah, can't block it. Pro red. Down to 14. Munitions Expert. Sure. How can we lose this game? Oh, alright, we're gonna... Wow, this is so greedy, but we're gonna do it. Path and Experiment one. Get a Forest. Alright, so it's possible they go Violin Snoop, untap Violin Bogart Harbinger, and we're dead. We gotta hope that they don't have... Okay, so we're not dead this turn, regardless, so that's good. And now we have green mana, so at least we can start playing these Hardened Scales, which will hopefully do things eventually. A little bit risky to go down a Path, because Path is really good against our opponent's deck, but... Alright, Mog War Marshal, making goblins. Opponent. I think the most worrisome part of all this is, like we talked about in game 1, opponent definitely wins the long game with their tutors and card draw, and we have not been able to get much pressure going with the awkwardness of... just a general awkwardness of this hand. Opponent passes. Well, play Hardened Scales. Go to combat. Attack for 1. Do we leave up Path or just Survivalist? Yeah, let's leave up Path this turn. Here comes a Vial. Matron? It's a Matron. So I assume this is going to get some sort of card draw, like Ringleader to Violin, especially since our opponent knows about the Path. Yeah, Ringleader, sure. Well, here comes the card draw. That's kind of what goblins do. Vial, take it up to Ringleader range. War Marshal goes away. Well, how many do they hit? That's the question. Ringleader! Come on. Only at least, oh boy, that's bad. Bad. Alright, so that is 3 goblins, including a Snoop and a munitions expert. That is exactly what we did not want to see. There's a munitions expert. Going to kill our experiment one. Huh, okay, sure. Opponent gets in for a ton. Yeah, this might be the old-fashioned goblin beat down here. Down to 14. Well, there's our greed mana. Yes, it's so awkward. Well, Hardened Scales. Survivalist. I mean, it does get big. It just doesn't really get us out of this. Too slow. Well, tap lad. Go. Well, we got a 4/4. Look out. Board full of goblins. Opponent. Taking it up. Yeah, we need to go up to a faster start in this matchup, I think. We did get him in game 1, though. And our opponent, somewhat on the timeout plan here. Opponent. Another Matron. Yeah, this is what makes goblins so good. You get so many tutors. Sling Gang. All right, and we can scoop it up now. We can't beat the Sling Gang. Too many bodies, too much blocking. Opponent's just going to be able to win fairly. So on to game 3, we get to be on the play, and we just got to hope that we get off to a bit of a quicker start. I think we're actually going to cut these experiment ones and bring in the Lantern Scouts and run it like that. All right, fast start, good mana, Hardened Scales Conclave Mentor. Go. You can do it, deck. I know you can do it. We get to play first, which is good. Well, okay. This could work, maybe. Not the fastest start, but it is fast-ish. We have 1 tap lad. But these paths are helpful, so we can just try to go aggro. Untap White Source might actually be pretty good. So we can just go 1 drop, and then start pathing and just try to close out the game super quick. Alright, Unclaimed Territory on human and Champion of the Parish. Go. Opponent, Black Leaf Glyphs. And, ooh, that's unfortunate. Tarfire. Alright. It's usually a one of fun of. Well, we will play Hada Freeblade. Play a tap land past the turn. Opponent does not appear to have a Ether Vial, which is kind of good news. Opponent. Ugh. Alright, Disruption.hand. That's interesting. I assume they take the Freeblade. Well, come on, action. Wow, takes a path. So that must mean our opponent has... Well, there's a Vial. Must mean our opponent has a bunch of removal, I would assume. Thalia's Lieutenant's actually pretty good. But this turn, we'll play a Freeblade. We'll grow our dorks. We'll start attacking. We'll leave up a path. Yes, and yes. Hit you down to 16. Well, now we attack. And we attack. And we attack. And we hope that our opponent dies before they goblin off. Vial, take it up. Opponents only got, well, they had 3, up to 4 cards in hand. But it's a bit deceiving because goblins draws so many cards that they will refuel. I guess we would not mind drawing a land now for this Falconer at some point. And to leave up path to not get comboed. Opponent. Okay, there's a Matron. Tutors up what? Alright, gets a Snoop for the future. Opponent passes. We draw, well, alright, Unclaimed Territory on human. And I think we actually, let's play Thalia's Lieutenant. Grow our dorks. Go attacking. Hit ya. Opponent's gonna chump. Yeah. Drops to 14, we pass the turn. Opponent takes up Vial. Anti's Hovel. Reveals Smog War Marshal. So Mog War Marshal, Snoop, and an unknown in hand. The unknown is... Oh, is this Mog War Marshal? Alright, so there's Mog War Marshal. Oh, this is actually super interesting. If we don't draw land, this next turn is really, really interesting. Like, either we win or we lose based on the decision we make. All right. Runs out the Snoop. Oh, that actually makes our life way, way easier. Since our opponent ran out Snoop, we will just path Snoop now. Because it has to be on Summoning Sick to combo. I figured they would vial it in. Well, we get to untap. We drew the land anyway, but we will play Falconer, grow our dorks, go to combat, big attack, flying attack. Munitions expert would be really good for our opponent. Oh, nothing. Down to 7. Okay. Okay. What do you got? What do you got? Pote it. Snoop 2. Oh! No! And our opponent wins. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That is unfortunate. So yeah, it does it. Opponent, drawing Goblin Matron, revealed off the top from Conspicuous Snoop. That gets the Bogart Harbinger. That allows our opponent to go infinite. We can, you can see the combo. Oh, that is unlikely. Well, our deck worked well against a top tier deck in Modern, and our opponent had to get lucky. I mean, there isn't really any other way of saying it other than the odds of our opponent winning were pretty low, maybe 10-ish% or less. But so you put Kiki Jiki on top, then you make Infinite Snoops, then you put the Slinging Lieutenant on top, and that does it. So, well, that's brutal. That's brutal. Huh. Well, the good news is we showed that our deck can definitely compete with this top tier deck. And if this match played out the same way and we played it 100 times, just by the math, we win 90 of them. When our opponent played that Snoop, they had to have Bogart Harbinger to not lose. They have to start chump blocking very quickly. They have to kill Abzan Falconer, so they have very few relevant cards in their deck. One of the relevant cards is Goblin Matron to get Bogart Harbinger, so yeah, all right. Score 1 for the Goblins. So what do we learn this week about hardened human allies in Modern? And the deck functioned pretty well, all things considered. We ended up 4-1 with our video matches. Lost another match to Goblins, which, oh man, the Goblins match that we had in video, oh boy, was that so close. I'm still a little sad that we didn't win that one, but I don't think the Goblins is actually a great matchup for our deck. We don't have that much interaction for the combo. They can block for days if we don't have Falconer to go flying. So we lost to Goblins twice. That would make us 4-2 overall. But really, the deck felt reasonably competitive. We did a great job of growing our creatures really, really quickly, and I was very surprised by the power of Abzan Falconer. Like, on paper, it looked like, okay, we grow our creatures, we play Falconer, we make our stuff huge, we get in one big attack and win. It actually worked out in practice. You never know. Sometimes things look good on paper, but then your Falconer just always dies to Lightning Bolt or something. But it actually worked out that Abzan Falconer was key to a lot of our wins, allowing us to fly in over our opponent's blockers. So I was very impressed with the power of Falconer in this deck. Otherwise, the allies are really strong, almost underratedly strong, and definitely worth keeping in mind because allies, they've always been associated with Zendikar. I think all of our allies have come from Zendikar sets, and we're returning to Zendikar. So maybe keep an eye on like Hada Freeblade, Kazadu Blade Master. It's possible the allies ends up being the next humans. I mean, I know we got humans in the deck too, but it could be a tribe that actually takes off in Modern if it gets more support, good support from our return to Zendikar. So the deck is pretty sweet. The only drawback of the deck, and if you want to pick up this deck but make it better, by far, for sure, the biggest thing you could do is improve the mana. We definitely had some clunky mana. Unclaimed Territory, it's a necessary evil because we need untapped dual lands. Our deck really wants untapped lands. We're an aggro deck. We're trying to curve out. We're trying to just, play things right up the curve. So we really need our lands to come into play untapped as much as possible. So Unclaimed Territory does help there. However, we also have times where we just draw 2 of them. We can't harden scales. It doesn't help us cast Conclave Mentor. The other thing is we have these dual lands in Sun Pelgrove and Fortified Village, which can come into play tap sometimes. Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes our bid is perfect. On the other hand, we also have games where our opening has 2 Sun Pelgraves and a Fortified Village, and we just have to spend our first 3 turns playing off curve as we play tap lands. So adding something like Temple Garden or Fast Lands, any untapped dual lands that you can to the deck would definitely improve it. We also have a little bit too many basic lands, which is just on account of untapped dual lands being really expensive, so adding more dual lands and more untapped dual lands to replace the dual lands that sometimes come into play tapped would be a huge upgrade in power. But overall, the deck is fast, it grows huge creatures, it can go evasive. I thought it was pretty sweet. So that's been Hardened Human Allies. That's been our budget magic for this week. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.